it's your time, baby. It's your time, baby. Get wild, baby. That's the
Right now on CBS News Miami, the vice mayor of Coral Springs killed. Nancy Metayer Bowen was found dead inside her home tonight. Her husband is in police custody. Pictures from social media show the couple smiling and hugging each other. Good evening and thank you for joining us for this late edition of CBS News Miami. I'm Lauren Pastrana. Detectives say the 38-year-old's death was the result of a domestic incident. CBS News Miami's Abby Dodge is your reporter in Coral Springs with the shocking story.
Chopper 4 was above as police worked out of a command center on the Commissioner's Street.
This is being investigated as a domestic violence incident. Her husband, Stephen Bowen, is in our custody.
The chief of police didn't describe Metayer Bowen's injuries, but said there are no other suspects at this time.
She was 38 years old. She was a scientist, a trailblazer, a barrier breaker. She had just buried her brother, and she was, by all accounts, on the verge of the biggest announcement of her career. But on the morning of April 1st, 2026, April Fool's Day, no one was laughing. A friend tried to reach her, she didn't pick up. They called her husband instead, and what they heard made them pick up the phone and call 911. By 10 a.m., police cruisers were outside a home on Northwest 127th Avenue in Coral Springs, Florida. By the time officers pushed through that door, what they found inside would send shockwaves across an entire state. Nancy Metayer Bowen, the vice mayor of Coral Springs, a rising Democratic star, the first Black and Haitian American woman ever elected to the Coral Springs City Commission, was dead. And her husband, of just a few years, was already running. This is the story of a woman who dedicated her life to building others up and was allegedly cut down by the one person who was supposed to love her most. Stay with me, because this case is as heartbreaking as it gets. To understand how devastating this loss is, you need to understand who Nancy Metayer Bowen actually was. Nancy was a first-generation Haitian American. Born to immigrant parents who came to this country with a dream, she carried that dream in everything she did. She wasn't just book-smart, she was brilliant. She earned a graduate degree from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health in Environmental Health Sciences. Before that, she graduated from Florida A&M University. She interned with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, then with former U.S. Senator Bill Nelson, then with the Obama administration. But Nancy didn't stop at prestige. She went to Haiti. She spent 2 years doing relief work after devastating disasters tore through the island. Then she came home to South Florida and got to work there too, serving Broward County, fighting for affordable housing, environmental sustainability, immigration rights. In 2017, she was elected to the Broward Soil and Water Conservation District. And then, in 2020, she made history, becoming the first Black and Haitian American woman ever elected to the Coral Springs City Commission. In 2024, she ran for re-election. No one even bothered to run against her. She won unopposed. She wasn't just a politician, she was a person. Colleagues called her their battle buddy. Fellow Commissioner Joshua Simmons would later say she had such a good heart. She truly cared about people. Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried described her as someone who showed up every single day, not just for her district, but for everyone. And she was on the cusp of something even bigger. According to Rep. Jared Moskowitz, she was days away from announcing a run for Congress. A congressional announcement scheduled for April 2nd, the day after she died. She had just buried her 26-year-old brother, Joshua, in December. He had died by suicide after years battling schizophrenia, and he had been a survivor of the 2018 Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School massacre. One family, so much tragedy, and yet Nancy kept going. She kept showing up. Until she couldn't. Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. A seemingly ordinary morning in Coral Springs, Florida. Somewhere that morning, a close friend of Nancy Metayer Bowen tried to reach her. They called her cell phone. No answer. That alone wasn't necessarily alarming. People miss calls. People are busy. But something felt off. The friend called her husband, Stephen Bowen. He answered. And according to Florida Politics, which first reported this detail, the friend said he sounded suspicious. Suspicious enough that the friend didn't wait. They called 911. At approximately 10 a.m., Coral Springs Police Department officers arrived at the home on the 800 block of Northwest 127th Avenue to conduct a welfare check. A routine visit on paper, but officers quickly realized this was anything but routine. Inside the home, they found Nancy Metayer Bowen, dead. There were no signs of forced entry, no indication of a stranger. The only person who should have been in that home was her husband. And he was gone. Police immediately put out a call for 40-year-old Stephen Bowen. He had fled, apparently after leaving his wife's body inside their home. What followed was a multi-agency manhunt. The Broward County Sheriff's Office, Fort Lauderdale Police, and Plantation Police all joined in the search. License plate recognition cameras, the same kind of technology Nancy herself had probably supported as a public official, became the key tool in tracking him down. A hit came in on SR 7 US 441. Bowen's car was spotted heading toward Plantation. Officers converged on the landmark Towers apartment complex. Witnesses at the scene described chaos, SWAT vehicles, police cars everywhere, officers with guns drawn. One witness told Local 10 News, "We just heard a big bang and I said, 'Oh my God, is that gunshots?' We looked out the window and we see SWAT cars, cop cars, just everything everywhere, guns drawn." Stephen Bowen was taken into custody. He had fled to what sources described as a friend's home. He didn't get far. At 5:45 p.m., Coral Springs Police Chief Brad Mock stood before cameras at a press conference and confirmed the nightmare. Nancy Metayer Bowen was dead, and this was being investigated as a domestic violence incident.
Investigated as a domestic violence incident. Her husband, Stephen Bowen, is in our custody.
He did not specify her cause of death at that time, but multiple sources, including Florida Politics, later confirmed she died of gunshot wounds. The chief's words were measured, but the weight of them was enormous. There are no additional suspects at this time, and there are no immediate threats to anyone in the public. The only threat had been inside her own home. Stephen Bowen, 40 years old, the husband. In domestic violence cases, the statistics are brutal and consistent. According to the CDC, intimate partners are responsible for approximately 55% of murders of women in the United States. When a woman is killed, the first person investigators look at is almost always someone she knew, someone she trusted, someone she loved. So who is Stephen Bowen? He's not a household name. Before April 1st, 2026, he was simply known as Nancy's husband. On her social media, she had posted a photo of the two of them together. The caption, "2 years with the amazing Stephen Bowen. Cheers to love, growth, and building a beautiful life together." Those words hit differently now. Investigators have not publicly released a detailed motive. In cases this fresh, they rarely do. But what we know from law enforcement and multiple news outlets paints a disturbing picture. Stephen Bowen did not call 911 when he found his wife, if we're to believe that's what happened. He did not flag down a neighbor. He did not stay at the scene. He ran. That flight from the scene is significant. Innocent people grieve, guilty people run. And when police caught up with him in Plantation, the charges filed against him were not ambiguous. CBS News Miami reported that Stephen Bowen has been charged with premeditated murder and tampering with fabricated evidence. Premeditated murder, not manslaughter, not a crime of passion, at least not in the eyes of the law. Premeditated. That word suggests investigators believe this killing was planned. And then there's the second charge, tampering with fabricated evidence. That charge suggests that at some point, either before fleeing, during his flight, or after his arrest, Bowen allegedly attempted to create, alter, or destroy something to throw investigators off. What was that evidence? Investigators haven't said publicly, but this charge alone tells us something critical. This was not a man acting in panic after a tragedy. This was allegedly a man attempting to cover his tracks. We should be careful not to speculate beyond what is confirmed. Stephen Bowen is, as of now, a charged suspect, not convicted. The legal process has barely begun. His defense team will have their opportunity to challenge the evidence, the charges, and the narrative. But here is what we know for certain. A woman is dead. Her husband fled the scene. He is charged with her premeditated murder. And a city, an entire state, is left asking, why? Was there conflict in the marriage that no one saw? Had Nancy confided in anyone? Were there signs that those around her might have missed? Those answers may come at trial. For now, Coral Springs is left with grief and questions that may take months or years to fully answer. Here's the detail that stopped everyone cold and turned this tragedy into something even more devastating. Rep. Jared Moskowitz, a Democratic U.S. representative from Florida, posted on social media the moment he heard the news. His words: "I'm in shock. I was just with her on Saturday. She just buried her brother. She was about to announce she was running for Congress. Nancy was one of the nicest people I worked with. She was always fighting for her community, always pushing to help. She had such a future. This is terrible." Saturday, he had seen her 4 days before her death. The Miami Herald confirmed it. Nancy's congressional campaign announcement was scheduled for Thursday, April 2nd, the very next day after she was killed. She had done everything right, built her career from the ground up, made history at every turn, survived personal loss, carried her community on her back, and she was standing at the threshold of something extraordinary, a shot at Congress, a chance to represent her community on a national stage, to amplify the voices of the Haitian diaspora in Washington. She never got to make that announcement. And there's another layer to this. In December 2025, just 3 months before her murder, Nancy buried her 26-year-old brother, Joshua. He had survived the February 14, 2018 shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. But years of trauma, years of battling schizophrenia, they had taken their toll. He died by suicide. Nancy carried all of that grief, and still she showed up, still she planned, still she fought. The charge of tampering with fabricated evidence adds another disturbing wrinkle. If Bowen allegedly attempted to stage something to misdirect police, it raises the chilling possibility that this crime was not born of a single explosive moment, but something far more calculated. Justice, in this case, cannot come fast enough. As of the time of this video, the case against Stephen Bowen is in its earliest stages. He has been charged with premeditated first-degree murder and tampering with fabricated evidence, according to CBS Miami. He is in police custody. No bail information has been publicly announced at this time. No trial date has been set. The investigation remains active. Coral Springs Police Chief Brad Mock has made clear that additional details about the circumstances of Nancy's death will not be released while the investigation is ongoing. The Broward County Sheriff's Office, along with Plantation and Fort Lauderdale Police Departments, assisted in the arrest. But beyond the legal proceedings, a community is in mourning. The outpouring of grief has been immediate and overwhelming. From state legislators to Florida's Democratic Party leadership, from City Hall colleagues to everyday residents, the tributes have poured in. Broward County Mayor Mark Bojan said Nancy served her community with dedication and heart. City Manager Catherine Givens told reporters, "To say today is a very dark day for us in Coral Springs is an understatement. Our hearts are truly broken." Commissioner Joshua Simmons, who sat beside Nancy at the dais, called her his battle buddy. He said simply, "Our commission is incomplete." State Sen. Chevron Jones called her a true champion. House Democratic leader Fentrice Driscoll said that to lose such a kind-hearted, humble servant leader in such a violent and unconscionable way is a shock that reverberates throughout our entire state. And Nancy's family, still reeling from the loss of her brother just months before, released a statement on her Instagram page. Part of it reads, "While many knew her as a leader and advocate, we knew her as a sister, a daughter, and a friend whose warmth and laughter filled every room. Her legacy will live on not only in the policies she helped shape, but in the countless lives she touched." This case also carries a much bigger conversation with it. Domestic violence does not discriminate. It doesn't care about your education, your title, your awards, your plans for Congress. It can happen to anyone, and too often it does. In the United States, on average, more than 3 women are killed by intimate partners every single day. 3 every day. We hear the statistics so often they start to feel abstract. Nancy Metayer Bowen makes them real. If you or someone you know is in a domestic violence situation, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7 at 1-800-799-7233. You can also text START to 88,788. Help exists. Please use it. As for this case, we will be watching closely. The moment Stephen Bowen's case reaches a courtroom, we will be there to cover it. Nancy Metayer Bowen was a trailblazer, a daughter of immigrants who dared to dream and then dared to build those dreams into something real. She made history, she broke barriers, she served her community with everything she had. She deserved to make that announcement on Thursday morning. She deserved to run for Congress. She deserved to grow old. Rest in power, Vice Mayor Nancy Metayer Bowen. Your light did not go out quietly, and neither will the fight for justice in your name. The charge of tampering with fabricated evidence suggests this may have been premeditated, not a single moment of rage. What do you think motivated this crime? And do you believe the justice system will deliver a verdict that truly honors Nancy's life? Tell me your thoughts in the comments below.